You know what I mean?
Well, we're good.
All right, bro. Because we in this thing. And it's another episode of Throne Talk with your boy Graham.
Shindy.
And we in this thing. So, before we even started filming, there was like a meme that kind of, it made me think to talk with this man about the topic. Communication. And like the theme of this meme was like, how to get what you want out of people. And there was like 4 agreements. The first agreement was like, be direct, be specific, which would be kind of, you'd be like, oh, well, duh, it's obvious, but not a lot of people are specific in when they're trying to communicate.
That's
like,
true.
I need you to do this. The second one was, like, do it often, like, ask often, like, ask your friends often, like, hey, like, are you trying to have the relationship grow, or is it a situation where you just part-time friends? The third agreement was
Part-time friends.
yeah, but no, that's the thing. That's a different type of topic. It's a different type of topic. I'm trying to remember what the third one was. I'm pretty sure so give me 37 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But no, man, it was a situation.
So it's be detailed.
Be specific.
Be specific.
Ask often.
I said be gratitude or something.
Yeah, that was like the last one. The last one was like show gratitude, like be thankful in the fact that you like that specific person had helped you out and went out of their way.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I have it here, bro. Oh man, I don't. Wow. Anyway, bro. Regardless, it's just a matter of like I forgot the third one, but it kind of sparked the idea of like I'm not gonna say like the topic for this podcast, but I'll say like just for this moment, like how are you trying to communicate with your homies, or if you're a woman, how are you trying to communicate with your homegirls? How are you trying to approach these things, and are you being specific? Are you being thankful after the gesture is had? Are you trying to move in these directions? So it's just something that I wanted to bring up, so like maybe we can expound on it.
Okay,
just,
maybe.
Like how like in your, I guess I would say in your experiences, maybe even in the more recent days with like certain friends who you develop with, or certain friends who you don't develop, like part-time friends. Like that's why I use that term specifically.
Okay.
Like the friends where it's like, I'm not saying you'd have to talk this is how I define it, and I'll ask you how you define it. How I define a part-time friend is like literally only talks to you when they need something, and it's not that you feel out of spite that like they're doing that, like, oh, they're only talking to me now, but it's like it kind of sucks because that's sometimes how it might appear. It might be a matter of you guys only communicate on Facebook, or and it's a choice thing. Like you guys could get each other's numbers and call each other, but it's a choice thing. Like it's only social media. Like there's just certain things where it's like in this day and age, like part-time friends, where it's like we're kind of detached. And I know we all have our own lives we're living, but it's different because in this quote unquote mental health era, like this era where we are expounding and getting to know people and know our own flaws, how we like, these are the types of things where it's like communication and all that all intertwines with it. So instead of being a part-time friend, like being more consistent in our friendships, like as how I would define, I guess, like a part-time friend. Like,
right.
But how would you define, like if you even, like just using that term and kind of, I guess, seeing how I would define it, like you don't have to use your, like base that off your answer, but at least kind of giving you a gauge of what I would mean by like that term.
I think I get it because it's actually one of the topics we may have touched on the last episode, although it did not go up, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
It didn't upload. Because we were talking about more like communicating with each other also, so I think it's more important if literally, like if you come to the table and tell the other person what you want from them, because half the times we're not on the same, like we're not on the same page, and I'm not talking about you and me, I'm talking about like general people, so if you want something more from somebody, you gotta tell them, because maybe they're not in that space themselves.
But see, and that's what it turns into. Like,
because one thing I know is sometimes we find ourselves like in a situation where I call you my friend because you're my friend, right? But in your world, I may not be your friend because that's not the relationship you'll have with me, because you have other. So
Okay. Yeah, people can view it differently.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
People can view,
So
view the how strong the
exactly.
friendship is differently.
Yeah. I could be a friend, but you may not be my friend, and that's totally okay, because people have different understandings of what relationships are.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, and that's just how you could separate the whole part-time friendship and full on, you know?
No, for sure.
Yeah,
Getting
man.
like asking, being more specific, and trying to get what you genuinely want out of the person. But see, why it kind of poses a problem as well is if you constantly have to like ask or like you're constantly asking like, yo man, I need you to do this way from a person, eventually it kind of seems like you're trying to son them or you're trying to act like you're their father.
Yeah.
That's why it's not like, yes, you can be specific, and of course you have to make sure that that energy is reciprocated. So you show the love and then you get the love back or whatever. What I'm saying is, and like when I feel like friendship is built on those types of gestures because it's something mutual. You don't always want to feel like you're constantly like, for like using an analogy, like you're constantly like filling up somebody's cup, and then like when you're thirsty and you need that drink, there is nobody to share their water with
Right.
you. It's different, like because you can have genuine love for a person in that regard, and it's not to say that you should do something and expect a return, but when you're quote unquote homies with somebody or friends with somebody or your boys or that's my brother, that like you these gestures are returned. Like you know that's like it's something you guys both share. Like, and yes, sometimes you do have to identify and be say it to them like, yo, I need this specifically done this way, or if you do this way, it might help the situation
That's
go
right.
back. Like, of course you can bring those up and hopefully your homie's receptive to that
That's right.
that conversation. But
I feel like that's why people ask people on dates, as in, listen, we've been hanging out a few times at work, whatever, but can we take it a little bit up? Can I take you out? When you say that, right? When you say that, you're breaking a boundary. Now the other person is on the same page with you.
Yeah.
It's up to them to either take it or leave it. And I just want to make this clear to specific people that may see this episode. We did not discuss this before we got here.
Yeah.
This is just happening.
yeah,
And
it's a conversation.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a conversation. Yeah.
Some people may feel like, because this conversation kind of like goes with what's kind of like going on with me in different.
Okay,
with me
so
and
that's why.
different
My
other
fault. So that's why you're specifying it. Yeah.
specifying it. So
It's
I'm not coming.
Yeah, it's not
I'm
targeted.
coming at
yeah.
somebody.
It's not targeted at
This
you.
is just
yeah.
you just hit me with this,
But that's how. Hey, and you don't even have to be in any type of faith, whatever. But that's how God works, bro.
That's it.
That's how God works. And
That's
I'm not saying it to try to push anything on somebody. I hope you find your light when you find the light when it's right for you. It's not about anything other than that. I'm on my own journey. We all have our own journeys.
That's right.
What I'm saying is, we genuinely can be put in positions where we have like things come out of us that it wasn't planned, and that's just
But it
what
happens.
it is.
It happens.
But back to in that aspect of saying like developing friendships and taking and having certain conversations so that the other person's on the same page and they have the choice to choose to accept. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna now be on the same page as well, or you know what, I'm not ready for that page. Giving them that choice and making sure that
It makes a big difference.
and understanding like you guys are like, it helps with the growth, man. Communication just helps with the growth. You have to understand that because it's easy to say like, he should have known that, or he should have known to.
I'm no God.
But if you have not ever expressed to somebody something,
I can't know.
you can't expect them to be a mind reader in that regard. And although you can be like, oh well, that's obvious. But sometimes it's not, because people go above and beyond to still get upset. He should have known not to like that picture, or she should have known not to share that, or he should have known not to XYZ, because I don't mess with them. But if you don't express it, no, they don't. How can they should have known? That's not a possible.
I cannot read your mind.
So
First of all,
it's what it is. It's what it is.
Example: I have a good friend of mine. I've known them for a long, long time, more than 10 years.
All right.
Okay, I consider him as my closest friend,
Word.
best friend. But the funny part is, it's different on his end.
Okay.
And I don't
Okay.
take that any way or form
Yeah.
of like anger
Yeah.
or defensive or
Yeah.
whatever. I just understand that, he's the guy I go to for, like when we have things to talk about,
Okay.
and he's there when, like,
Yeah.
10-year relationship.
Yeah, man. He's been there through some hard times.
Exactly.
It's a good time, yeah.
And I also understand that he has his own like person to talk to about this thing.
Okay, like a chain of people,
Right.
Like confidants, like
Mhm.
a chain of people who you confide in.
Exactly.
But anyway,
I feel like girls fight over this all the time. It's like, no, that's not your best friend. That's my best friend.
true, and it's like a weird kind of case of that. I feel you. That's hilarious.
That's
but,
it, man.
But not literally saying hilarious on you, but I'm saying like just
No, the
in general. Like,
situation.
and yeah, like if it was in a movie, that would be a kind of funnier situation. But obviously, it's real life.
Have you,
It's like,
have you been in that
obviously it
situation
affects you.
where you find somebody, you hear somebody call your buddy their best friend, and then you're like, wait, what?
But see, and that's
What's going on?
I feel you, bro. I feel
You know?
you. And
So-
it's different.
It
It's
just
different,
comes down
though, because
to talking about it, being specific, man. I swear to
no,
God.
because and it's something that you learn over time. Like obviously, you might not have had that conversation to know that you guys aren't on the same page as far as, yo, that's my homie, that's my dog. But he might look at you more like, well, that's my acquaintance. Like we're friends,
Exactly.
but that's more of my acquaintance. Like it's unfortunate because it like it's not about being weird or nothing, but it is almost like comparing it to a woman who, if you like them, you feel them, this, that, and the third, and then she's just like, oh, that's my brother, and it's like, no, I wasn't even trying to be in the friend zone like that.
Wait.
That's the terrible part about it. But I'm just saying that to say, like, it just obviously we're making light of the situation, but it is like that sometimes. Like, you got to make sure you're on the same page. You telling somebody how you genuinely feel or how they could genuinely improve within your collective situation, like how they go when they leave your space and go out into the world and interact with other friends and such. That's obviously how they do what they do. But when they're with you, like, hey man, when you're with me, can you not do X, Y, Z? Or hey, if I'm like a woman say, hey, if we're together, can you not say X, Y, Z? I find it disrespectful. Like that's a situation that we all kind of have. Like we all have the right to we all have the right to say, man. Like we all have the right to do, like, being specific. And I guess like I started off earlier by saying like, oh, it's not necessarily the theme of the episode, but it kind of is, because
It kind
like
of is.
you want things to, like, okay, like I'll speak for myself as a human. Obviously we all are, but I'm saying we kind of are selfish as far as like we want things done our way because it helps us maybe perform our best, or maybe get to a destination quicker, or maybe whatever the reason why is, like, that's what we feel is necessary, and that's why we feel like we have to kind of push our way in whoever is around us. But that's where communication / compromise comes into play, where it's like it's a team thing. I heard my boy Wallow 267 from Philly, and Gilly the King's cousin. I heard him say, like, team it stands for together each achieves more. That right there is a situation where once you start, like, I get it, we came here alone, we're gonna leave here alone, but throughout the process, if you have somebody who wants to be on your team or wants to team up with you to achieve something greater, at least see what they're about, like confront the situation and see if it's something that can genuinely help you grow. Like, these are things that I'm genuinely thinking, because in our day-to-day lives, like, we could be like talking to a friend who we think is closer than we are. We could be talking to a parent who we think we can confide in, and then like later on we find out that parent or that uncle or that aunt doesn't really care about us like that, even though they're family. Like all these types of things happen.
Listen,
So-
people have their lives to live, So
Yeah,
you can't
yeah.
just force your way into their schedule. Like, that's
No.
not how things work, right?
100%.
And we all have to come to an understanding of that. Your schedule may be super busy right now, and you have no time for me, And give it 6 months later, my schedule overpowers your schedule, and now I become more busy.
Yeah.
It does not mean we're still not vibing. It
Yeah.
just means life is happening,
Life
brother.
happens.
Life is happening.
No, life does
And
happen.
If you're really happy for my accomplishments and where my life is going, you should understand that
You gotta keep moving.
we gotta keep moving. So if I see you once a month, man, let's appreciate that moment. Let's come together and like
That's a
just
key
enjoy
point.
it.
That's a key
you
point.
mentioned girls and women and boys like communication. I feel like most people put themselves in a friend zone most of the times because why am I speaking with my hands?
It's all good, bro. I know I speak with my hands.
Yeah.
Y'all have to accept that.
It's all good.
But anyway.
Anyway, so most people put themselves in this friend zone because you're not willing to ask the toughest questions. Like, hey man, listen, I feel you right now.
You're right.
You know, like
You're right.
I think
With women-
I think we could have something going on. So what's going on? You know,
Fellas, if you want to ask that woman that, like, put it this way. One, if we're here to just experience this, if we're here to experience this life just this one time, why not ask? Why not say like, hey? And even it's how you present it sometimes. Expressing like, hey, I'm not trying to mess up the quote unquote bond. You don't have to use the term friendship, like the quote unquote bond we have, but I'm trying to take things further. Like, you expressing and letting her know, giving her that option, like to say, hey man, like I'm with it, or no, I don't really look at you like life is life. But at least you know now.
Everybody knows
you
their
have to, you
place.
have to take your time and not that you can't still be in that quote unquote bond or friendship with her. You can at least know, okay, I have to pursue another woman who I think is a suitable fit for me. Life is life.
That's it.
But if you genuinely never ever try, it is what it is. Like you just will never know the answer, and it's unfortunate because later on she might mess around and get a boyfriend, and then you mess around and then she mess around and says to you, "Oh, I was feeling you back then, but you never asked." For some reason, I don't know why women don't feel like they can ever ask. Like, let me know,
Yeah,
shit.
man.
If
Some
you
of them
like
are-
me,
some of
if
them
you
are
think I'm
super
cute, if you
bold,
think
bro.
I know, but if you think but that's what it is. But it's like sometimes, like if you think I'm cute, let me know, ladies. Don't sit there and just like secretly like or like my pictures or whatever on social media, but never ever say, oh hey, I think you're fly or whatever the case is. Then all of a sudden you see me with a young lady. Now all of a sudden you unfollowing me and this, that, and the third, and it's a problem. Then I'm sitting here like I don't even know why she unfollowed me.
Right.
She didn't like me anyway. Ladies, it's not saying specifically it's only on you because fellas we got to talk to them too, but communication. That's why the whole point of this is we're talking about be specific, because at least if you let them know, you give them the opportunity to say I'm with it or nah, I'm not feeling you. It's just different.
It's crazy because I feel like most people underestimate communication. It's literally like one of the top the top things you need to succeed in anything. Whether it be a relationship, whether it be in anything, talk to somebody about your specifications and everything else goes from there. Because if I know my place, I will not do the extra stuff.
Word.
Okay?
Word.
If I know I'm just a friend,
Word.
listen, don't call me 3 o'clock in the morning, talk about, hey, how you doing? Nah, I'm your friend, man.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm trying to sleep right now.
Yeah.
But if I'm trying to slide in the DMs or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
okay, cool. 3:30 a.m. Text me. I'll be up.
But that's the honest. That's the honest truth about it.
Yeah.
Like letting people know what you're trying to like achieve too. Like being back to being specific. Like letting them know, like, hey, I'm just trying, or hey, I'm trying to come over and kick it and watch Netflix, or hey, I'm trying to X, Y. Like being specific. Because yes, I get it. Things can lead to other things once people engage
Right.
and you guys are one-on-one kicking it, whatever. What I'm saying is being specific will get you quote unquote what you want out of people. Not in the sense of using people,
Nope.
but in the sense of letting them know or giving them the option, hey, can you please if it's a matter of dealing with me, can you please react or not react, but can you please be this way or not even be this way? Like I'm trying to find the right words, but it's more just, can you please compromise with me to meet me here, opposed to saying, can you do this exactly? Like it's more just about the communication and allowing them to have the choice.
And the thing too is, I wanna say, don't come off as begging, because nobody should beg for no friendship.
No,
You
sir.
know, so
No, sir.
if
You're
you
right.
if it comes to that point of you just like constantly asking for that person's time and energy
Yeah.
and all that, brother, sister, listen, you're better off by yourself. Go in your room, lock yourself up, read a book, write something.
Yeah,
like
enjoy your time.
Enjoy your time, because the other person is just gonna be wasting it.
No, for sure.
Most times we're so like, I think this is so special for me. But turns out it's actually not, because you're not even here.
Yeah.
I'm in it by myself. We're supposed to be in it together.
See, and I'll say this as my final point because it kind of rolls off that one.
Mhm.
Though we were talking about communicating with others more for like the whole episode, more or less, I just want to say this. Sometimes it's okay to be alone. Find out who you are. Find out the things you like. Find out the things you don't like. Because with that being said, once you know yourself and like what you genuinely vibe with, what you fuck like, what you mess with, at that point,
I just get points.
no, it's all good. At that point, it's all good. Like you can then take your whatever you learn about yourself and all the like the growth you've manifested.
Mm-hmm.
You can take that, and then when you meet with another person, you guys, it's not a half and a half making a whole. It's a whole and a whole making something even better than
That's
that.
it.
A whole person and a whole person and you guys still have time to grow. It's not that you guys are like, I'm saying a whole, like you're complete, you don't have any more growing, but remember, you find solace within yourself and find peace and happiness within yourself and things of that nature, so that when you do link up with somebody, like it's a way doper experience. Sorry,
I just touch on the same thing you just said. Being an alone person, it does not make you like lonely. Just
Okay.
understand that.
Yeah.
So like learn to walk on your own path sometimes, because that gives you a different a clear vision of where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading an article like that on the bus. It's called LornaWolf.com, and they just tell you like basically like how to like the pros and cons of spending alone time. You know,
Okay.
most times when we're with people, it's sometimes like distraction. Sometimes,
Okay.
you know. But when you're spending it by yourself, you're just more like you appreciating all these things that's coming to you know, like to you, whether it be like a mindset or like you're just like perfectioning something that you're supposed to do by yourself.
Right.
You know, it does not make you necessarily a lonely person.
No.
It's just like
No.
you're just spending a very important.
It's like kind of like having the wherewithal to learn. Yeah, it's like having the wherewithal to learn your weaknesses and like turn them into strengths.
Mhm.
It's like you being able to not be distracted is gonna like allow you to focus and like hone in on these specific things within yourself and see like how different ways that you can navigate to correct
That's
them.
right.
Not saying that like everything's like, but for most people, or at least for some people who have expressed themselves to me, when they wake up, they wake up with a sense of like, okay, I got another opportunity, and then like it's a matter of gratitude, and it's a matter of from there, how can I get better throughout the day?
Mm.
If that is your mentality, and I'm hoping we can shift more people into a certain mentality like that, where it's like you're okay with walking alone on that path and taking the time to try and correct and basically give your best steps, put your best foot forward. That's an amazing sentiment to me. If that's where your mindset can be, and you can fight through certain adversities through life.
That's right.
But that's the last thing more or less I have to say. Like I don't know.
I
how
just,
you be
I
feeling.
just have a few points
Yeah,
here
let me know.
on the same thing. When you learn to spend some time alone, these are some of the benefits you get. And the first point says you're free to follow your true soul path. So like really get to know who you are and understand what you're about. And then it says you can connect with people who truly support and nourish you. Because
Okay.
half times we're hanging out with the wrong groups, you know, trying to impress the wrong people, but they don't really care for you. You know, so like
Right, and not to cut you off, their actions will determine
Uh-huh.
if they care for you. But
That's
continue,
it.
sorry.
I just the last point here. It says you feel more alive when you spend time with yourself, and I agree with that 100%. You know, I did a thing where I went off social media for I think it was a month about
Okay.
social media, and the last week of my 1 month of social media, I didn't pay my phone. I didn't pay for my phone too.
Okay.
So I was literally like
Just cut
no
off.
communication,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
My brother and my sister actually came to my house knocking, yo, you're good?
Are you okay?
You know,
No, for sure.
Yeah.
They was making sure you didn't pass out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But guess what I did the whole time? I was just in my backyard, sipping on some good stuff.
See?
You know,
See?
just like
Bruh,
hanging
see,
out.
That's what it is.
That's
And not to
it.
cut you off.
Yeah.
You ever go on a walk, man? You ever literally go out and smell the roses? Smell flowers.
Just by yourself.
Literally. Have you ever done that?
Take a walk,
Bruh.
Take a walk.
And I'm not even talking like, yes, I do what I do. I feel nice when I do it. What I'm saying is, go in nature, smell the tree, like genuine, like when there's no like go in a damn near a forest where there's like just trees and peace and you just hear the sounds of nature. That is a different type of experience. And I'm saying that to say, even if it's a matter of you being able to do that like 20 minutes out of each day.
It's blessed.
So at least in that 20 minutes you can kind of just rejuvenate and bruh, get in tune. And I'm saying this in the sense of a command because I want everybody to at least feel a certain sense of peace.
Alive.
You know what I mean?
Feel more human.
Bruh. But yo,
That's just what it is, man. That's what it is.
It's been another episode.
Come on.
Yo,
Come on.
Stone Talk with your boy Graham.
Come on, man. We're Shindy.
And we out here. It's love, man.
Take care, guys. It's so important, man. Like
Yeah.
people don't understand.
It is.
fam. Like take a walk, write something. Just do something that nobody else wants you to do. Just do it for yourself, man.
Those small deeds.
The small things.
Those
You know.
little deeds.
Yeah, man. If you have to spend 30 more minutes in the shower,
Hey, man, that water bill gonna be a little higher, but that's okay because in truth, that 30 minutes that helps you feel rejuvenated, you can't really buy that back.
no.
That little phone bill, like you can get extra. Let's say it's an extra $40 or whatever on your water bill. Sorry, that is what it is.
It is what it is. Sometimes we go to work for these things.
No, and that's the thing, bro.
You know?
We spend 40 hours in a place some of us don't want to be.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we'll almost talk ourselves out of doing certain things that we like doing, or talk ourselves out of trying a new situation that might not even be that pricey, but we're like, oh man, but I don't really got it like that. Well, what else are you working for, man? If it's not those types of like beautiful, like kind of beautiful experiences, even if it's something that you want to try that was new, like crushing, like obviously like I don't know, you have a weird kind, not weird, but you got to have like a different type of mentality if you out here crushing, like you know, like people who crush grapes to make wine with their feet and whatnot. Like,
man.
bro, like it's wild. But I'm just saying, like people are into that.
That's
Or
how you
into
do
that. What do they call like that sipping paint where you sip wine, you just paint your little thing, and you might be with a significant other, you might be just by yourself. But it's something. It's just an experience. It's a little vibe. It's an aura. It's something that like you can take your time with, bruh. But yo, let me show you some love. Let me show you some
Yeah, man,
focus.
it's not even about that, bro. We can just put this here. It's not even about that. Everybody gets love.
Yeah, man. Let's get
I just gotta make sure it's in it.
It's alright,
But yo,
man. We alright.
This is just
Yeah,
this is
man.
just our behind the scenes.
Yeah, man.
honestly.
Sorry, we just chopping it up. Just on just talking to the fact of people being almost too afraid to live in that regard. And when I say too afraid, because sometimes like I don't like no one's perfect. I don't have all the answers, and some people don't know how. But if you're willing, I'm just saying, if you're willing to work 40 hours and you have like that at least that sanity or that consciousness and ability to be in a structure like that, take your time. We gotta have to find a way to take that time and get you to break out and break free a little bit. Because you got to be able to put, like in my opinion, you got to be able to put yourself first. It can't always be I don't know if I want to do that, or I don't know if I could, if I should do that. You have every right to have fun, or just go on a walk, or just whatever. So please find your time, especially if it helps you with your mental and allows you to find a place of peace or makes you feel more alive. Like that's the key,
I feel
man.
like we have a lot of so much pressure from this society, bro. Everybody wants what the other person is having, basically. Like, you want your schedule to be busy because my schedule is busy.
See, what y'all need to understand is that's not what I want. That's okay if some people
Right?
want that. I'm not saying you, but like some people, like you can. Oh, yo, man, I got this show. I got this and that. I got. That's okay.
Like, that's cool because you got that time.
I want to be able to do like 3 shows a month, 4 shows a month, but it's such a quality experience that I can be compensated to a way where that's all I need to do.
That's right.
I don't want to do it where I'm literally doing a show every other day. I get it. Money is money. The bag's a bag. But if I could accumulate, if I could do something a few times and get paid handsomely, opposed to doing something a lot of times and getting paid just, you know what I mean? It's not about the money, but it's about, in this capitalist society, it's about time versus money.
That's right.
I want to make sure that
I'm gonna go live
I have.
quick.
Yeah, that's cool. I just want to make sure that I have the time, man.